Hey guys, Keith here. Appreciate y'all tuning in once again. I got the Hawaiian shirt and the cowboy hat. I'm not. I do that a lot. I kind of mix things up. I don't know if that's a real good fashion statement, but I am single and maybe the reason I don't date. I'll be honest with you. Could be a lot of things, but the shirt and the hat combination might blow it completely. It's like George Strait and Don Ho, kind of. But yeah. So Don Strait and George Ho, I guess. That didn't come out right. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Okay, don't worry about the shirt. Just don't let the shirt. It's a little distracting. It's a little loud. To be honest with you. Turn the volume down a little bit. We're going to talk about. We've had some videos about being alone. I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to find out what you do when you're alone, and nothing personal or private, okay? But what do you do for fun when you're alone? And I'm not talking about going out so much and doing things, but I'm talking about when you're at home. And again, not talking about cooking or laundry, all that, just normal stuff that you do. I'm talking about what do you do to kind of unwind? What do you do for entertainment, for enjoyment? Uh, there's I've tried to find something. I lived alone for many years before I met my wife, and I was kind of used to that, you know. And matter of fact, I had to adjust to married life because I was used to being alone, you know, and not sharing the bathroom, not sharing the bed, and all that stuff. So I had a lot of adjustments, and now I'm kind of back to that again, and I'm trying to adjust to being single again. And I used to enjoy watching movies by myself because that's all. I didn't have a choice, right? And then my wife and I always watched movies together. So now I have a little trouble, and my kids watch them now too with me. But there's some movies they don't care about, and so sometimes I have a little hard time watching a movie by myself and getting, sitting through a 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie sometimes. But I do enjoy movies. So, tell me what you like to do. That's one thing I like. I enjoy movies. I enjoy. Sometimes I'll get into a series, a Netflix series or some series on TV. For a little while, sometimes I get bored with them. If they're several seasons and they're kind of dragging things on or whatever. But it depends on the show. Some of them I've watched multiple times. I enjoy some different things. I enjoy some crime shows, at lunch and stuff. But anyway, music. What type of music you like, and what do you listen to? Vinyl records? Do you listen to cassettes? Do you listen to just YouTube videos of music? I do a little combination of all those things. I've got songs on my phone that I can run through my stereo, or I can put on a record and play an actual vinyl record from. I still got all my records from, or most of them, when I was a kid, even, and cassettes and things like that. I can, CDs, whatever. I can play whatever. I got 8 tracks, for crying out loud. I got reel-to-reel tapes. Some of y'all don't even know what that is, probably, and so I got a combination of stuff. I can do some things like that, and I got some disco lights, and I kind of step back into the '70s. Got some vintage, stereo and this and that. Speakers, and so kind of step back a little bit in time, and so I enjoy that sometimes. Sometimes I don't, just to sit and listen to music. It's a little, it can feel a little lonely, So at least with TV, I kind of feel like there's stuff going on, people are talking and things like that. I don't know, it's a little different, but it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But yeah, let me know what you do there. Reading. I like to read. I'm not a big novelist reader. Don't read novels too much. I have a few times, but I'd rather watch a movie. Honestly, so a lot of people say, "Oh, the book's better," but I've just always been a movie guy and TV guy, so I'd rather watch the movie. But I do enjoy inspirational books and self-help books and things that inspire me and encourage me and that kind of thing. So I do that. But just what's some things that you do? When you're alone, do you just do you meditate? What do you enjoy? Maybe just turn down the lights, light a candle, and just get alone with your thoughts. I don't know. To me that. I don't do that very well. I think it's good to meditate. I think it's really good to unwind and kind of shut your mind down if you can. But I try to keep busy as much as I can. So I having hobbies. I play the guitar, sing, I write songs. So I write more songs probably in bed. When I wake up at 5 in the morning, I can't go back to sleep, and I'll lay there and maybe I had an idea from the night before, and I'll write a song and that kind of thing. So kind of a hobby there of mine, and like I say, playing the guitar, doing that and singing and that kind of thing. But I don't know. There's lots of things to do. Video games. I'm almost 60, but I'm not too old to play video games. I enjoy video games. I like the VR. I got that, and I got the Atari back, in the day. So I enjoy a little bit of everything like that. But some days, I think what's hard about being alone for me right now, as I say, when I was alone and that's just all I knew, it was a little easier. Not that I never got lonely, but I was just more used to it. That's just all I knew, and I think it was a little easier to do things. Now sometimes it's hard for me to, even though I have so many things I can do. I can listen to music, I can watch TV, stream it, I can do all these things, but just getting to that and going, just doing it and enjoying, enjoying it. I think once you can enjoy being alone, you can enjoy about anything. I really do. I think you conquer that. That's your superpower, conquering loneliness, if you will, or just being alone. I think it's awesome, and I'm working on that diligently. I really am, because I want to get to that point, and to be able to I want to just listen to some music, and I don't have to think about life and what tomorrow holds, or anything. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just dealing with right now. I'm just having a time of entertainment, And so anyway, I'd like to hear, like I say, what you've got that you have that you enjoy doing, and that occupies your time and gives you entertainment and joy. Maybe you garden, maybe you work on old cars. If you have a dog and a cat, or one or two, or both, I'm sure that's probably enjoyment for you. Obviously, I know my mom and dad, they have a dog, and they've always had dogs, and when they don't have a dog, they're not happy. They're not as joyful, and so it's pets are very important. And getting outside, I don't get outside much like I used to. When my wife was here, I would get out and do things more, and now I'm kind of a little bit more in the house. I work from home, and I get out and go to town, but I don't get out in the yard and mess around much like I used to. And so, but gardening, I think just getting out and taking a walk in the yard or in the woods, and things like that are a good thing to do. Get out and get some sunshine, and even when it's hot, just get out for a few minutes. You don't have to stay out as long, but get out and do something, and just try to enjoy nature. I know my son gets out every night. He goes out after dark and looks at the sky, and he checks out the stars and the moon if hopefully they're out, and just walks around and kind of enjoys nature. And so it's important to do that, I believe. So I need to work on that. But most of my stuff's inside, And I have a pool table, but I don't, like I said, play pool a lot. Again, something I could do. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit tonight. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do y'all do? What really brings you entertainment and joy in your life? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do. Really, that's seemed like it kind of covers it all. A lot of media stuff. I am into ball games. That was one thing I was going to mention. I'm into sports now. I used to not be into sports at all. My mom and dad never were into sports, and so I never was into that. But the last year or so, I got into it more, and I feel like I'm part of a group, even though I'm not at the games. But they are, they're live, and I feel like I'm, the announcers are talking to me, and that I'm kind of there with the group, So I do enjoy watching a lot of different sports now, and that has been kind of fun for me. So I don't know if you're into that or not. I know a lot of ladies are not into sports as much, but I see a lot of ladies at the games. So maybe they're just there to, please her husband. I don't know, but I know some women are obviously into sports, and some men are into sports, some are not. So like I say, I was one that was not for a long time. But it's been a help to me to kind of feel like I'm not alone completely, And there's a lot of joys to being alone. I'll put a link to one of the videos I did about the joys of being alone. Because there are a lot of benefits to it. There's no doubt, but I think there are times when it's like, what can I do now to bring me pleasure? What can I do that's going to be enjoyable to me? What kind of movie should I watch? Sometimes you're in the mood for a comedy. I like horror movies, but I don't always like to watch horror movies, by myself. Not because I get scared, but I like to share them with somebody else, I guess. And there's some movies I don't care if I'm watching it by myself. I'll do that and enjoy it. But I like rom-coms. I like action and westerns and war movies, and I like a little bit of everything, really. And same way music. I like country and rock and classic rock mostly. But I like a little mixture of heavy metal and bluegrass and, just different things. I can sit and listen to some classical. It doesn't bother me a bit. But I have preferences, of course, things I like better than others. And same way with books. And, I do enjoy reading where I didn't used to like to read at all, but I enjoy that more now. So, and I think I like to end the night with a reading. I don't do that as much, but I'm going to start doing that more. I get on, it's kind of like exercise. I get to doing it and I feel great doing it. And then you miss a night, and then you miss another night. And the next thing you know, it's been 3 weeks and you haven't worked out, you haven't read a book or read a chapter or anything. And so, I think getting in a routine, not in a routine where you're just, it's mundane, but getting in a good routine can bring joy to your life. I think once you get out of a routine, it can kind of mess you up a little bit. So anyway, I'm anxious to hear your comments on what you enjoy and what gives you pleasure when you're alone. Okay, and when you're home alone, kind of thing. And like Kevin on Home Alone, there, what do you do? You just ward off the wet bandits or whatever you do. But anyway, I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you all having a great evening, and I hope you enjoyed the loud shirt that I'm wearing. I'll maybe find another one and wear it next time. But anyway, if you could give us a thumbs up on this, subscribe to us, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in.